about all of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax.
The president has tweeted climate change skepticism at least 115 times, including a claim that the concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese.
A hoax.
Of hoaxes.
A hoax.
A lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax.
How long till it won't be able to be reversed? I think it's already too late.
Extinction Rebellion, a global environmental group founded 3 years ago. The aim is to get the government to take action on climate change. The group mostly locate themselves in London, but there are groups all over the world. Our local group meet up regularly at Weston-super-Mare's Faces Cafe.
What's your name? If you feel comfortable, could you give us a short introduction to who you are?
Yeah, sure. My name's Mark Tyler, and I am the person that actually set up the Extinction Rebellion group here in Weston-super-Mare. And the reason that I did that was because I went on an action in London where we blocked 5 bridges across the River Thames. And at the time I didn't know anyone here in Weston, and the guidance given after that bridge blocking action was go back to wherever you come from and set up your own group. And it seemed to me to make sense because I wanted to make some friends, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, so that's what I did. I came back to Weston and started setting up this group.
Why did you decide to become an XR rebel?
I think I decided to become an XR rebel because we are actually not at the moment anymore in a climate crisis. We are in a climate emergency, and because it is so little time left, we are looking at less than 8 years. We need to really get through to our leaders, to our political leaders. And XR is a movement like no other movement ever before. It functions differently and it has had quite a bit of success so far, so this is why I joined.
When did you start taking action to help the climate crisis?
Probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was really out of desperation because the climate crisis didn't seem to be on the agenda, and I think it was such a big thing, it is so big that lots of people just don't want to look at it, it's just too hard. So it was an act of desperation, really.
Do you believe that XR's work is helping?
I hope so. We haven't got much else.
Our documentary team recently took part in a local protest in Bristol city centre. We began to understand exactly why Extinction Rebellion has become such a massive global organisation.
What do you guys think about the protesters who take it too far?
As in, like, smash stuff?
Yeah.
Well, there's no need, is there? Especially if it is something like for the about climate change, it's not really helping.
So I'm kind of fully in support of protesters and really kind of think it is a good way of being heard. But having said that, when you see things on the news, like people are trying to get to hospitals and they couldn't get through, and when it can cause kind of like life and death situations, then I start to look at it a bit differently.
Well, they do get people's attention, so I guess they're doing their job right, even if they are going too far.
But the one we went to, it almost was like they were told it was going to happen. Everything seemed safe, secure. The police were there, but just making sure it didn't get out of hand, I guess. So I guess if there's preparation for it so that then it's not messy and you get the message across peacefully.
And obviously if it ever impacted me like that, then I think I'd probably have a different viewpoint on it. So I agree with the motive of it, but sometimes, yeah, it can go a bit too far, I'd say.
Do you take climate change seriously?
Well, yes. It's something I don't think about really, because I'm not educated enough on it to speak on it. So yeah, I take it seriously in the sense of, I guess I'll do my bit where I can, but I don't think about it that often.
I do take climate change really seriously, and I think everybody should. However, having said that, I want a bit of guidance because I feel like I'm not doing enough.
I mean, I'd say that's the same with me. I definitely think I should care about it.
I mean, I think we do, but we're not going to do a Greta and, like, speak out about it openly because that's not really where this sounds so bad. I care, obviously, but without caring.
And I feel like a lot of people that my life is really busy and I haven't got the time to kind of find out what more I should be doing. So I'd love someone just to feed me like really short, sharp information of, you could try this or this would make a small change. And I think people resist, lots of small changes. But if we're all doing those small changes, then it's going to have a bigger impact. So, yeah, I absolutely take it seriously. But I just want more guidance on those quick wins of things that I can do to do my part, really.
Yeah, like, I don't know, I still leave lights on and stuff when I leave a room.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not going to, like, go out of my way to go to a protest or anything. Like, I've got better things to do.
I mean,
without sounding like a... Like, and also, say it's in Bristol, how's everyone getting to Bristol? In a car? Do you know what I mean?
I did get there on train.
Well, exactly, that takes up fuel, doesn't it? So, are you fixing it or are you part of the problem?
Do you think schools educate us properly on climate change?
I think the future's a bit brighter, actually, with the way that schools are educating young people about climate change now. It's now going to be more part of the curriculum, and I think we're probably a bit late with it. I think it probably should have been there a long time ago.
No, definitely not. We weren't at all until we got to college, really.
Personally, no. Because obviously in secondary we learn about it when geography and that before GCSEs where you have to choose it. That's all my knowledge of this is being taught it then. But obviously don't choose geography, don't go on to do it in college. Now, it's not something that's spoke about unless you go to something like a protest or do your own research. It's not something that's taught anymore, really. And that's my views on that.
I would agree. It's just...
Would you?
Yeah, well, the only time I really learned about it was GCSE geography.
Yeah.
And as soon as that was over, then...
Proper remembering, Mr. Phelan being
good old shoppers.
Good old shoppers.
Yeah. Shoppers.
I've got a few concerns about it being in early years curriculum, because I know that some of my friends have said that, some children hear things and they get quite scared and it is quite frightening and overwhelming. But just to have that awareness of responsibility from a young age, I think is really important, yeah.
Have you had any bad experiences during any past or recent protests?
Actually not. I haven't been in many actions, only a handful. And I was surprised, how supportive the population has been and how curious and sometimes how thoughtful. And I always felt that, there was more support, more acceptance than I would have thought. Yeah.
I witnessed extraordinary numbers of police, which seemed unwarranted and, supposedly intimidating.
Not really bad. I've had moments where people have been quite rude or quite angry, but I kind of accept their anger. I mean, if you're being held up when you want to go somewhere, it's irritating, isn't it? So, not really. I mean, I was arrested, but actually, on the whole, that was, in the end, quite a good experience.
The system is inherently violent. The system that we live in is inherently violent. and that can be seen in the way that the system itself exploits resources and exploits people.
I think it's ignorance. I think, you know, the mainstream media is quite intent to make the climate crisis as less urgent, as less dangerous as it actually is. And so many people really think this is a passing little problem sort of in the background of things. It isn't. It is life-threatening, and most people don't understand it. But if they did, I'm sure they would, you know, be supportive.
We recently created a questionnaire for the public and college students, and most of our responses said they weren't sure what they could do to implement more eco-friendly lifestyle choices into their everyday lives. Do you have any tips for these people and those watching on how to do so?
Well, my first tip is well done. I'm glad you're thinking about it, and that's really good. And yes, you can say eat less meat, less dairy, don't fly so often, be aware of your energy use. There are all sorts of things that we as individuals can do. But in the end, it has to be on a national and international scale.
As of this day, Extinction Rebellion still await the government to take action and more responsibility for the collapse of the environment.
Every single person is important. So everyone, whether you think you have talent or not, just come and join XR. There will be a space, there will be something you can do to try to change the course. No guarantees.